$30-40 million more than Morbius.
All right, we should be going.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Spin Right. This is Mars here. I'm here with my boy Petey. Say what's up, Petey.
What up?
We're doing the new Netflix hit movie, Adam Project. Of course, that's being the guy who's the starring it is Ryan Reynolds, has Mark Ruffalo, Jennifer Garner, and Zoe Saldana, of course. And I got to tell you, it was interesting. The basic plot, Peter, do you want to hit that up, or you want me to break it down for people?
We have a broken family, a family that lost their father, right? And we have a wife and a mother and wife who's struggling with dealing with her now being a widow and with her son. And the son, of course, is having struggles in school where he's getting beat up and then getting they're suspending him for him getting beat up, right? So it's a lot of turmoil, and while his life isn't going that great, something appears in his backyard. It's actually some guy from space, right? He's not enamored with him, but he's worried about who this guy is. He's not seeing the signs that the dog isn't reacting to the character. The dog is chilling with him, even though he's hurt and he's a stranger. And he slowly realizes that this character is himself, right? So we started this movie actually with a little bit of gunfire, where we see Ryan Reynolds trying to escape. We kind of get the hint of that, and we get into the whole family thing that I just described. But there is the two of them trying to figure out what their next step is, right? And right. Of course, right, it's ultimately sort of a psychological back and forth, humorous though, where Ryan Reynolds looks at his younger self and is very critical about how cynical this kid is and how he's kind of pushing people away, as far as his mother and such and stuff like that. But at the same time, as they wind up having to go through time to fix things, to find out another thread that they didn't know, in actuality, the adult one has a lot of scars, even that he masks with humor. So it's a very heavy sort of thing within this fun story, right? It's very fun, but it has some layers to it. And, we already know that Mark Ruffalo is going to show up at some point. That leads into the time travel they're going into. But this is something that could fix everything. But we don't know if it does, or if Mark Ruffalo might come back. But it's a fun sort of story. It's a fun sort of time travel story, some action in it, and some layers. So.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with you. It's a lot of fun. I mean, this is film, of course, we have Ryan Reynolds in it, and he does a great job. And I think he said a lot of the team came from Free Guy, and that was a very enjoyable movie. And we had a lot of the same people here, from the screenwriter. I think the producers were also involved in that movie. So that just shows you that whole team comes over. One of the big things when you have similar teams, these teams tend to be able to gel very well. The very fact that he's coming back from the past to meet his I guess his prior self, his younger self. I think it's probably the way to say that is was great. I think one of the good things about this show was the Ryan Reynolds, when he goes back to the past and he meets his younger self. And his younger self is a blast. I mean, the kid they picked to play him is just as sarcastic, and this comedic timing is just as on as Ryan Reynolds. So that alone, that little back and forth in dialogue, I thought was excellent to me. Very enjoyable. When he's questioning each other, and he's like, "Yeah, this kid's just doing what," and stuff like that. So I think that was if you're interested in this film, that alone is a gem. But you also have.
Jennifer Garner.
You also have Zoe Saldana, who comes in, who is his love interest, and he goes back in the past to try to find out what happens to her, basically, right? And when he does, you start finding out a lot of other nefarious things that happened, who was doing certain things. A close confidant of his father's basically used his technology or knowledge and invention, and was able to create time travel. And in doing that, she helped to make herself very important in the world. So they have to go back and kind of fix that. And then he meets his father, who basically comes off, who's Mark Ruffalo, comes off as a I don't want to say the word. You say the word much better than me, Petey. It starts with an A.
Why would you say that?
Yeah, I mean, because you
I
a lot
think
of
I think his father doesn't have enough Doc Brown in him. That
what
Doc
is the other
Brown,
stuff?
no, Doc Brown said don't mess with the continuum, but still read the paperwork. And the thing of it is that him being this straight laced was a little too, too good to be true. But ultimately, in the end, he helps the adult Adam. So I can't really call him a total asshole. He kind of brings. This is the part that you have to have between father and son, the hitting the heavy bag, which they did. They didn't just do a kid sort of thing. They did a hit the heavy bag with your father type of thing, which brought out the emotion in Ryan Reynolds' character. And at the same time, there were some things that they couldn't avoid, right? So they had to go through, right? The same sort of trauma that they went through, they couldn't get around that stuff. So at the same time, I can't really. It's like it's like something my father said, to me that at some point I was gonna think like he was a total idiot. And you're saying now you're thinking that I would never say that, but at some point you get tired of the person telling you the rules.
right.
That's the sort of thing that he had to deal with, where he's like, I'm grown. It's the cable thing, but at the same time, he still had need of the father, and of course, like having the little more gray hair. Then of course they should what is my 5-10 year space between them now in this story. So but yeah, I think I wouldn't call it that. I think it's just basic like father thing. I think he was just a little too good to be true of saying you can't tell me nothing. You
All
have
right.
to go through this stuff.
But then probably the issue we're talking about is basically that he looked back and he treated his father as like he's such a great thing, he's such a cool guy. But then when you go back in the past, you realize, hey, he's just another person. He's not the same. He's not as great as you think he was. And one
What
thing
was
that
bad about him? What did he
yeah,
do that was bad?
one of the things that Ryan Reynolds said basically in his character to his younger self is that, yo, dude, your mother was always there for you. She's the one. Don't treat her as bad as you are.
You're talking about the kid then, the
Yeah,
kid being an a-hole. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the kid be see there goes you use the word so good,
Oh my
compared to
gosh.
yeah, so it was pretty interesting that was going on there. I also like the technology. The technology looks really good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
something that you can watch this movie again. The technology looks very good. They don't have a lifesaver, but they have this like staff that can pull out and when people get hit. I like the world building. It was really good. I think that if I was Netflix, I would not have ended the movie the way it would. I would have kept it more expansive. This is something that could have been done for future projects and stuff like that. It doesn't always have to have Ryan Reynolds, but the whole world building would have been pretty cool. They spent
They did
160.
a movie. They did a movie with a clear thing of you're supposed to be looking at the movie and saying we had another loss. Ryan Reynolds is like, I'm losing my father. I didn't only get to see him for 2 seconds, and now I'm losing Zoe Saldana. Right. So that's the plot you're supposed to be watching for about, which gave you guys. If you don't even get through the whole movie, watch the end. Oh gosh, what is this? That's terrible. Port.
Look, Netflix right now, this is one of their top movies right now, okay? And this is one of the top movies globally. All right. I mean, it's just killing it. And this is what I'm trying to say that this movie was something that they could have done a bit. It could have been done in a way that you have more opportunities. You got to open the can.
You can go back and do whatever you want. In the future, they become time warriors again. If
Yeah,
you
it
want
could
to
be
play all
done.
that, but the thing of it is going back. I'm saying going back to it, and you have to decide that you want to be. You have to decide that saying that the saying that he said that he's sleeping with his eyes closed. When you're in school, any guys in school, use that line. It works. It is a foolproof line. Dude, there's a show going on. You got to turn off your TV. So yeah, I think it's a solid. I think it's a solid effort. They could kind of revisit it again, but at the same time, if you want to revisit it again, or if you want to be just a one solo movie of some cool effects, this is what it is.
Yes, and I agree with you.
I, I agree.
All right. So, if you like what you saw, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, Spirak.
Out.
Out.